The sun rose over Nova City, painting the metal towers and flying ships with a soft golden glow. Liam wiped his hands on a rag and looked at the small starship he was repairing. Sparks flew from the engine, and the hum of machinery filled the air. It was another ordinary morning in the busy galactic city, and Liam enjoyed the quiet work. Being a single dad was not easy, but he loved taking care of his daughter. Mia. She was a cheerful girl with bright eyes and a quick smile. Liam had promised himself he would give her a life full of happiness and honesty. Suddenly, the air shimmered, and a large shadow passed over the garage. Liam looked up and nearly dropped his tools. A massive starship hovered above, unlike any he had seen before. Its surface glittered like precious stones, and golden wings stretched wide on either side. The hatch opened with a smooth hiss, and a figure descended gracefully. Liam could hardly believe his eyes. She was tall, majestic, with scales that shimmered like emeralds and gold. Her eyes glowed with intelligence and strength. This was no ordinary visitor. Behind her, a smaller figure followed. She looked about 7 or 8 years old, but carried herself with a quiet dignity. Her eyes were bright green, and small scales peeked from her hair. She was beautiful, and Liam could see a hint of magic around her. His heart beat fast. He had repaired many starships in his life, but he had never imagined meeting a dragon, and certainly not one who walked like a human. "Hello?" the Queen said, her voice calm but firm. "I am Kylara, the Dragon Queen of the Zoran cluster. I am here with my daughter Lyanna." Liam swallowed hard and nodded, unsure what to say. I am Liam," he said. "I fix starships and machines. Welcome to my garage." Kylara's gaze softened slightly. "We have come on a matter of importance. My daughter must choose a father figure, one who can guide her and care for her. I expected to find someone among the noble houses, someone with power and wealth. But perhaps we will see if there is virtue in simplicity." Lyanna peeked from behind her mother and smiled at Liam. There was a spark of curiosity in her eyes. Liam noticed her hands were slightly glowing with a faint magic. He realized this child was not only special, but different from anyone he had ever met. For a moment, Liam felt nervous. The idea of raising a child was difficult enough with his own daughter, but the thought of being considered a father figure for the Dragon Queen's child was overwhelming. Still, he smiled. "I do my best for my daughter," he said. "I believe care and honesty are important for any child. I will do the same for her." Lyanna's eyes lit up. She stepped closer to Liam, ignoring her mother for a moment. "Can you show me how you fix machines?" she asked. Her voice was soft, but it carried a confidence beyond her years. Liam hesitated, but then nodded. "Sure, you can help me. Just be careful, okay?" The little dragon girl's smile widened. She carefully followed Liam to the engine he was repairing. Her small hands hovered over the wires and metal panels. Liam guided her gently, showing her how to connect circuits and check engines. She watched every move, her green eyes full of wonder. Kylara watched silently, her expression unreadable. She had expected her daughter to be impressed by wealth and status, but here she was, fascinated by a simple mechanic. Kylara felt a hint of worry. This human might not belong in her plans, yet she could not deny the warmth in his actions. Hours passed quickly. Liam and Lyanna worked together, laughing at small mistakes and cheering when the engine finally hummed to life. Lyanna's tail swished happily behind her, and Liam's heart felt full. He realized something important. Even though she was different, Lyanna reminded him of Mia in many ways, the same curiosity, same desire to understand the world. Kylara finally stepped forward. "Lyanna," she said gently, "it is time to return to the palace. We must continue our search." Lyanna looked at her mother but shook her head. "I want to stay. I want to learn more from Liam." The Queen's eyes widened slightly. No dragon girl had ever refused her instructions so boldly. "Lyanna, you must follow tradition," Kylara said. "You cannot choose freely yet. The path has been planned for you." Lyanna's small hands clenched. "I want to choose what is right for me, not what others say is right." Liam stepped forward carefully. "Your Majesty," he said softly. "She is young, but she knows what makes her happy. That is important. Children need love, attention, and trust. not rules or power. Kylara looked at him, and then at her daughter. Something shifted in her heart. This human, this simple mechanic, was speaking truths she had not considered. Maybe she had been too focused on status and wealth. Maybe the little girl's happiness mattered more than anything else. Lyanna hugged Liam tightly. "Will you teach me more tomorrow?" she asked. Liam smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest he had never known. "Of course," he said. "Tomorrow, we will fix more engines, and maybe I can show you some tricks to make them run faster." Kylara cleared her throat. "We will return," she said carefully. "But you must understand, there are duties and expectations in our world. This choice will not be easy." Liam nodded respectfully. "I understand, Your Majesty, but I will do my best, no matter what comes." The Queen studied him for a long moment. Liam's honesty and courage impressed her in ways no palace noble ever had. She realized that humans had qualities even dragons admired: patience, ingenuity, and unwavering care for others. These were the traits that could shape a life and make a child strong and confident. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting long shadows across the city, Lyanna returned to her mother's ship, but she waved to Liam eagerly. Liam waved back, feeling a strange excitement. Tomorrow would be different. He did not yet know how much his life would change. But something in the little dragon girl's eyes told him that this was the beginning of a story unlike any other. That night, Liam tucked Mia into bed and told her the story of the day. Mia's eyes sparkled with wonder as she listened to her father's tale of dragons, queens, and magic. Liam smiled at her, realizing that his life, though ordinary to others, was full of extraordinary moments. Meanwhile, high above the city, Kylara stood on the deck of her ship. Watching the skyline, she thought about Liam, the human mechanic, and the unusual bond forming between him and her daughter. She did not yet know how this would end, but for the first time, she felt curiosity and hope rather than control and expectation. Lyanna slept peacefully beside her mother, dreaming of engines, machines, and a human who treated her like a person rather than a princess. And in his small apartment below, Liam dreamed of adventure, friendship, and a little dragon girl who had chosen him in a world where choice was rare. The stars above shone brightly that night, as if signaling the start of something new. Something that would bring dragons and humans together in ways the galaxy had never seen. And as Liam slept, he did not know it yet, but his life was about to change forever. The next morning, the city was alive with the hum of engines and the chatter of merchants. Liam arrived at his garage early, carrying his tools and checking the schedule for repairs. His mind, however, was not on engines or broken droids. It was on Lyanna, the small dragon girl who had visited him yesterday. Her bright eyes, her curiosity, and the way she had listened so carefully to his instructions had stayed with him. He was arranging his tools when a soft glow appeared at the edge of the garage. Liam turned quickly and saw Lyanna standing there, her tiny wings folded behind her back. Her green eyes sparkled, and she held a small bundle of tools in her hands. "Good morning," she said politely. "I brought some tools. Can we continue today?" Liam smiled warmly. "Good morning, Lyanna. Yes, we can. Let's start with something simple. Today, we will work on a small engine. It is not very difficult, but it teaches you how every piece works together." Lyanna's tail swished with excitement. She stepped closer and watched as Liam opened the engine's casing. He pointed to a small gear. "See this gear? It controls the timing. If it is off by even a tiny fraction, the whole engine will fail." Lyanna leaned in, touching the gear gently. "So every piece is important," she said thoughtfully. "That's right," Liam replied. "Even small things can make a big difference. Just like people." The little dragon girl's eyes widened with understanding. She nodded slowly. "I like that," she said. "It is like how you care for Mia and the machines." Liam's heart warmed. He had never expected that a small dragon girl would notice the little things about him. "Yes," he said. "Care and attention are very important. You can learn a lot from machines and people if you watch carefully. They work side by side for hours, tightening screws, testing circuits, and adjusting gears." Liam explained every detail patiently, showing Lyanna how to check for mistakes and how to fix them without breaking anything. Lyanna listened intently, asking questions and trying her best. Liam noticed how quickly she learned. In a short time, she was able to assemble small engines almost on her own. As they worked, Liam shared stories of his life. He told her about Mia, his daughter, and how she loved to explore and learn new things. He spoke of the challenges of being a single parent and how much joy it brought him to see Mia succeed and grow. Lyanna listened with rapt attention, fascinated by the human's life. "You are very brave," Lyanna said finally. "You do so much for Mia, even when it is hard." Liam chuckled softly. Being brave is not about fighting monsters or flying starships. Sometimes bravery is about caring, being patient, and never giving up. That is something you will learn as you grow. Lyanna nodded seriously. "I want to be brave like that," she said. By midday, the engine they were working on hummed perfectly. Liam wiped his hands on a rag and looked at Lyanna. "You did very well," he said proudly. "You are learning fast." Lyanna's eyes sparkled. "I had a good teacher," she said. She smiled and added shyly, "Thank you, Liam." At that moment, Kylara arrived at the garage. She had been observing from a distance, hidden by a cloaking field. Seeing her daughter so happy with a human made her pause. She had come to remind Lyanna of the rules and expectations of the palace. But instead, she found her daughter smiling freely and learning new skills. Kylara stepped forward, making her presence known. Liam and Lyanna turned toward her. "Mother," Lyanna said quickly, "I am learning so much here. Liam teaches me about machines and life." Kylara looked at Liam carefully. He was calm, respectful, and confident, without arrogance. She could see why her daughter was drawn to him. There was a quiet strength in this human that no palace noble had ever shown. "I understand," Kylara said slowly. "But you must remember, Lyanna, that there are duties waiting for you. You cannot spend all your time with him." Lyanna shook her head gently. "I know, Mother, but I also know that learning here is helping me. I want to choose who I trust. Liam is kind and wise. He does not care about wealth or power. He cares about people and machines. That is important." Kylara studied her daughter and then Liam. "You speak wisely, child," she said. "And you, human, are unusual. Most do not show such patience and understanding. Perhaps there's more to humans than I expected." Liam bowed slightly. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only teach what I know. Lyanna is clever and curious, so she learns quickly." The queen nodded. She felt a mix of pride and concern. This simple human had impressed her with his character, yet she knew the galaxy would not easily accept such a choice. Still, she could not deny the joy she saw in her daughter's eyes. For the next several days, Lyanna visited Liam every morning. They fixed engines, repaired droids, and even built small hovercrafts together. Liam showed her how to think creatively, how to solve problems without fear, and how to care for every detail. Lyanna learned quickly, but she also began to teach Liam in return. She had magic in her blood, and small sparks of it sometimes helped them complete tasks faster. Liam laughed in amazement when a tiny burst of light rearranged a tangled wire perfectly. "You are amazing," he said, smiling at her. "Your magic is very helpful," Lyanna grinned. "And you are amazing too," she replied. "You make machines work and teach me things I never knew." Their friendship grew stronger. Liam began to see that Lyanna was more than just a dragon girl with magic. She had a sharp mind, a kind heart, and a strong sense of justice. She cared about fairness, about doing what was right, and she respected life in all forms. Liam realized that her mother had chosen well in raising such a daughter. But he also understood that Lyanna's choice of a father figure would be different from what the queen expected. Kylara watched from a distance each day. She was fascinated and conflicted. She admired Liam's patience, his cleverness, and the way he treated her daughter as an equal. But she also worried. Would the galaxy accept a human as a father figure for a dragon princess? Would Lyanna's choice bring trouble? Yet every time she saw her daughter smile freely, she felt hope. Perhaps there was wisdom in following the heart rather than tradition. One afternoon, Liam and Lyanna worked on a small hover engine in the corner of the garage. Lyanna leaned over, concentrating hard. Liam guided her hands carefully. Suddenly, sparks flew in a bright arc. Lyanna jumped back, startled, but Liam laughed softly. "It's okay," he said. "Sparks happen when you are learning. Mistakes are just part of discovery." Lyanna nodded slowly, a small smile returning. "I will be careful next time," she said. "Good," Liam said. "But remember, sometimes mistakes teach you more than success. You learn where to improve, how to adjust, and how to keep going. That is the real lesson." Lyanna looked at him with admiration. "You are very wise, Liam," she said. Liam smiled. "I have learned from life, Lyanna. Patience, care, and kindness are important. Strength is not just in magic or wealth. Strength is in helping others, solving problems, and keeping your heart open." Lyanna's eyes shone with understanding. She reached out and touched Liam's hand briefly. "I think you are very strong," she said quietly. The words warmed Liam's heart. He realized something important. This little dragon girl had chosen him not for his wealth or status, but for who he was. And he felt a responsibility not just to teach her, but to protect her, guide her, and show her the values that made humans remarkable. Kylara, serving silently, felt a mixture of pride and wonder. She had expected her daughter to be drawn to power, but instead she saw a bond of respect, trust, and admiration forming between Lyanna and Liam. This human, humble as he was, had captured something that no noble could offer a simple. On his heart, as evening fell, Liam closed the garage doors. Lyanna reluctantly prepared to leave. "I will see you tomorrow?" she asked. "Of course," Liam said, smiling. "Tomorrow, we will try a new engine, and maybe I can show you how to make small machines move on their own." Lyanna nodded excitedly. "I can't wait," she said, and with a flick of her small wings, she disappeared into the sky, leaving Liam smiling and hopeful. That night, Liam told Mia about the new friend he had made. Mia listened intently, fascinated by the stories of Lyanna, the small dragon girl with magic and courage. Liam realized that life had a way of bringing extraordinary people together, even in the most ordinary places. And as he prepared for sleep, he felt a sense of purpose growing within him. He was not just a mechanic. He was a teacher, a guide, and perhaps in time, father figure for a being unlike any other. High above the city, Kylara and Lyanna looked at the stars. Kylara felt a spark of understanding. Perhaps humans had qualities that dragons had overlooked: patience, creativity, kindness, and bravery. Perhaps her daughter's choice was not foolish, but wise. And as Lyanna dreamed of vengeance, machines, and the adventures to come, Kylara realized that this friendship might change their world forever. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders and dangers, but in a small garage in Nova City, a human and a dragon girl had found a connection stronger than magic, stronger than power, and more remarkable than anyone could imagine. And that connection was only beginning. The next morning, Nova City shimmered under the pale light of its twin suns. Liam had just finished repairing a small droid when a soft hum filled the air. He looked up and saw a golden starship descending from the sky. Kylara, the Dragon Queen, had arrived at his garage, her expression serious. Beside her, Lyanna's small figure hovered nervously. Liam wiped his hands on a rag and stepped forward. "Good morning, Your Majesty," he said respectfully. "Is everything all right?" Kylara's eyes were sharp. "We must speak, Liam. Lyanna's visits here have continued against my instructions. She has shown interest in learning from you rather than preparing for her future as a dragon princess. I need to understand your intentions and your suitability as a guide for my daughter." Lyanna stepped forward bravely. "Mother Liam teaches me more than anyone else. He shows me how to think, how to care, and how to solve problems. I like learning from him." Kylara turned her gaze to Liam. "Do you understand the responsibilities you are considering? Being a guide to a dragon princess is not a simple task. It requires wisdom, courage, and strength. Most humans fail at such duties." Liam stood tall, keeping his hands visible and calm. I understand, Your Majesty. I am only a mechanic and a father, but I have learned patience, problem-solving, and care. I promise to teach Lyanna honestly, to help her grow, and to guide her with respect. That is all I can offer. The Queen studied him carefully. She had met many powerful beings, nobles and warriors, but this human's calm honesty intrigued her. He did not boast, did not demand, and yet there was a quiet confidence in his words. Kylara realized that strength did not always come from magic, wealth, or power. Sometimes it came from knowledge, patience, and integrity. Lyanna stepped closer to Liam and whispered, I want him to teach me, Mother. I trust him. Hylara's sharp gaze softened slightly, but her voice remained firm. Trust must be earned, Lyanna. Your heart is brave, but you must also learn to balance your feelings with duty. Liam nodded. I understand, Your Majesty. I do not seek to replace your teachings or your authority. I only wish to help your daughter see the world in practical ways, to give her skills that will aid her in life. Kylara paused and considered. She remembered her own childhood, the lessons of duty, and the strict expectations she had endured. She had grown powerful and wise, but she also knew the loneliness that came from obedience without choice. Perhaps her daughter deserved a chance to learn differently. Very well, Kylara said finally. I will test you, Liam. If you are worthy of guiding Lyanna, you must show more than words. You must demonstrate your ability to think quickly, act wisely, and care for her safely. Only then will I consider your suitability. Liam's eyes brightened with determination. I accept any challenge, Your Majesty. I will do my best, Kylara nodded. Follow us to the palace. The first test begins immediately. Liam and Lyanna climbed aboard the Queen's ship. The interior was vast, filled with glowing panels, floating platforms, and corridors that shifted with light. Liam had repaired many ships, but none were like this. He marveled at the technology and design, yet he remained calm. Focusing on the challenge ahead, the Queen led them to a large chamber. The walls were lined with floating crystals that glowed softly, and the floor shimmered with energy. This is the test hall, Kylara explained. Here, your first challenge begins. You must navigate an obstacle course designed to test your patience, intelligence, and care. Liam glanced at Lyanna. She looked excited, not afraid. Are you ready? He asked gently. Lyanna nodded eagerly. Yes, I want to learn from you. The first challenge was a complex array of floating platforms and moving gears. Liam studied the layout carefully. He noticed the timing of each platform and the potential danger of missteps. We must move carefully, he said to Lyanna. Watch the patterns and listen to my instructions. Step by step, Liam guided Lyanna across the platforms. When a platform tilted unexpectedly, he adjusted her position with steady hands. When a gear threatened to block their path, he used a small tool to redirect it. Lyanna followed his instructions precisely, learning quickly from each action. Kylara observed silently. She expected mistakes or hesitation, but Liam's calm confidence and careful guidance impressed her. Lyanna moved with grace, learning not only the mechanics of the course but also how to trust and act decisively. The second challenge involved repairing a small malfunctioning droid. It beeped and whirred, its circuits sparking occasionally. We must be precise, Liam said. One wrong connection, and it could fail completely. Lyanna handed him tools while watching closely. Liam explained each step carefully, demonstrating how to test circuits and align components. Together, they repaired the droid, which then moved smoothly across the chamber. Lyanna clapped her hands in delight. Kylara's expression softened. You demonstrate more than skill, Liam. You show patience, understanding, and teaching ability. These are qualities I did not expect from a human. The final test was the most personal. Kylara conjured a holographic storm with swirling lights and floating obstacles. You must guide Lyanna safely through this storm, she said. Your ability to protect and care is being tested. Any misstep could harm her in a real situation. Liam took a deep breath. Lyanna, stay close to me and follow my lead, instructed calmly. The storm began, with swirling lights and shifting platforms. Liam calculated each move carefully, guiding Lyanna through the obstacles. He shielded her from danger, redirected falling objects, and encouraged her whenever she hesitated. Lyanna followed him closely, learning not only to trust him, but also to act with confidence herself. After several tense minutes, they reached the other side safely. Lyanna's face was glowing with pride and excitement. "We did it!" she exclaimed. Kylara's eyes glimmered with a mix of surprise and admiration. "You have exceeded my expectations, Liam. You demonstrate wisdom, courage, and care. Perhaps humans are more remarkable than I realized." Liam bowed slightly. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only teach what I know, and I only protect those I care for." "Lyanna is clever and brave. She made it possible, too." Kylara stepped forward, placing a hand on her daughter's shoulder. "Lyanna, you have chosen well in learning from him. You see qualities that others might overlook. This is wisdom beyond your years." Lyanna smiled brightly. "I want to learn more, Mother. Liam teaches me in ways I never imagined." Kylara looked at Liam, her gaze thoughtful. "You are unusual human. Most would seek power, recognition, or reward. You seek only to teach and guide. This is rare, and it is admirable." Liam felt a sense of pride, but also humility. He had never sought glory or recognition. His purpose was simple: to help, to teach, and to care. That purpose had earned him the respect of a dragon queen. Over the next few days, Liam continued to work with Lyanna in the palace. He repaired complex machines, built small hover vehicles, and taught her the practical skills that no royal tutor had ever offered. Lyanna learned quickly, absorbing not only mechanical knowledge, but also problem-solving strategies, patience, and kindness. Kylara watched from a distance, slowly understanding that her daughter's choice was not foolish. Humans, she realized, had qualities dragons admired: patience, creativity, integrity, and a sense of fairness. Liam was teaching Lyanna lessons that went beyond machines and magic. He was teaching her about life. One afternoon, Kylara approached Liam privately. "You have impressed me beyond words," she said. "I admit I feared your presence would distract my daughter or mislead her. Instead, you have strengthened her. I see now that humans have remarkable qualities that even dragons can learn from." Liam smiled respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I do not seek to replace your guidance. I only hope to add to it, to show Lyanna practical ways to navigate the world." Kylara nodded thoughtfully. "Perhaps this is the start of a new understanding between dragons and humans. Perhaps we have underestimated your kind for too long." Lyanna, overhearing a portion of their conversation, smiled quietly. She felt proud of Liam. He was not a noble, not a warrior, and not a dragon. Yet he had earned the respect of a queen and the trust of her daughter. That was more than any title or power could provide. That evening, Liam returned to his small apartment. Mia greeted him with a bright smile. "Did you have another adventure today?" she asked. Liam chuckled softly. "Yes, Mia. I taught Lyanna some new things today. She is learning fast." Mia's eyes sparkled. "She is lucky to have you." "And so is she." Liam nodded, feeling a sense of purpose. He realized that his life, though simple, had become extraordinary. He was not only a mechanic, but a teacher, a guide, and perhaps one day, a father figure to a being unlike any other in the galaxy. High above the city, Kylara stood on her ship, watching the stars. She thought about the bond forming between Liam and Lyanna. It was unusual, it's unexpected, and yet it filled her heart with hope. Perhaps humans were capable of more than dragons had ever imagined. Lyanna, sleeping peacefully beside her mother, dreamed of vengeance, machines, and a human who treated her as more than a princess. And Liam, in his small apartment below, dreamed of adventure, learning, and a connection that would change both their worlds forever. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders and mysteries, but in the test hall of the Dragon Palace, a simple human and a dragon girl had formed a bond that would bridge worlds. The morning sun rose over the Dragon Palace, casting golden light across its glittering towers and floating bridges. Lyanna was already awake, her small wings fluttering with excitement. Today was not an ordinary day. Kylara, her mother, had arranged a series of new challenges to test Liam, the human mechanic, and to see how strong the bond between him and her daughter had truly become. Liam arrived at the palace with Mia by his side. Mia waved to Lyanna, who waved back, her eyes shining with anticipation. Liam carried his toolkit, as always, but he also carried patience, courage, and a readiness to face the unknown. He had learned that no amount of skill alone could prepare someone for the lessons this world had to offer. Kylara met them in the palace courtyard, her golden scales glinting in the sun. "Today, Liam," she said, "you will face 3 tests. Each one is designed to show your ingenuity, care, and courage. Only by completing all 3 can you prove your worth as a guide and mentor to Lyanna." Liam bowed respectfully. "I accept the challenge, Your Majesty. I will do my best." The first test was the Labyrinth of Lights, a vast network of floating platforms, rotating beams, and shifting pathways. The labyrinth glowed with energy, making every step a careful calculation. Lyanna's small hands held Liam's as they approached the entrance. "Stay close to me," Liam said softly. "Watch the lights and follow my instructions. Timing is very important." Lyanna nodded, her eyes wide with determination. Together, they stepped onto the first platform. Liam studied the movement of each beam, calculating when to jump and when to wait. Lyanna followed precisely, learning to anticipate changes rather than react blindly at one point. A rotating beam swung dangerously close to Lyanna. Liam caught her gently and pulled her to safety. "Careful," he said, smiling reassuringly. "Sometimes you need patience more than speed." Lyanna nodded. "I understand," she said. She began to watch the movements more closely, following Liam's lead with increasing confidence. After several tense minutes, they reached the center of the labyrinth. Lyanna's eyes shone with excitement, and Liam felt a surge of pride. The test had been difficult, but their teamwork had made it possible. Kylara observed from above, her expression thoughtful. She had expected mistakes, but Liam's calm guidance and Lyanna's trust had allowed them to succeed. Perhaps humans were capable of more than she had imagined. The second test was a machine puzzle. A large contraption of gears, circuits, and energy conduits blocked the path. It needed to be repaired and activated to allow passage. Liam examined it carefully. Noting the precise connections and the flow of energy, "This is where observation is most important," he explained to Lyanna. "If we connect the circuits incorrectly, it will not work. But if we pay attention to every detail, we can make it function perfectly." Lyanna leaned in, her small hands hovering over the glowing panels. She watched carefully as Liam demonstrated the correct sequence. Step by step, they connected the circuits, tested the gears, and aligned the conduits. Sparks of light danced as the machine came to life, whirry and glowing with energy. Lyanna clapped her hands in delight. "We did it," she exclaimed. "Yes," Liam said, smiling. "We did it together. Always remember, Lyanna, that attention to detail and patience make a difference. The smallest change can make the biggest difference in any machine or task." Kylara stepped closer, her gaze softening. "You are teaching her more than mechanics," she said. "You are teaching her thoughtfulness, caution, and confidence. These are lessons that no palace tutor can provide." The third test was the most difficult. Kylara created a simulation of a stormy asteroid field. Rocks floated and spun, light flashed unpredictably, and hidden currents threatened to sweep anyone away. Liam was to guide Lyanna safely through the field, relying on their teamwork and trust. "This is different from the other tests," Liam said. "Here we must act quickly, but carefully. Trust is as important as skill." Lyanna nodded, her small hands gripping his. "I trust you, Liam," she said firmly. Together, they entered the simulation. Liam moved with steady calculation, directing Lyanna over shifting rocks and around spinning debris. Lyanna followed his instructions precisely, learning to anticipate danger and act decisively. At one point, a large asteroid drifted directly toward them. Liam grabbed Lyanna's hand and pulled her to safety. "Careful," he said. "We must remain calm and focus on what we can control." Lyanna nodded, her confidence growing with each step. She began to notice patterns in the simulation, predicting the movement of the rocks and helping Liam navigate with insight. By the time they reached the edge of the asteroid field, both were breathing heavily but smiling. Lyanna's small face glowed with pride, and Liam felt a deep satisfaction. They had faced a dangerous challenge together and had succeeded because of trust, patience, and teamwork. Lara stepped forward, her expression filled with admiration. "You have passed all 3 tests, Liam. Not only have you shown skill and courage, but you have demonstrated care, patience, and wisdom. Your bond with Lyanna is strong. You are worthy of guiding her." Liam bowed respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I will continue to teach her with patience and honesty. I will do my best to help her grow." Lyanna hugged Liam tightly. "Thank you, Liam," she said softly. "I am happy to learn from you." Lara's gaze softened further. She realized that Liam was not only teaching her daughter, but inspiring her. Humans had qualities dragons sometimes overlooked: creativity, patience, and an understanding heart. Liam was proving that strength came in many forms, not only through power or magic. The following days were filled with more lessons and adventures. Liam taught Lyanna how to repair engines, build small hovercrafts, and even design simple tools. Lyanna learned quickly, absorbing not only knowledge but also the values Liam exemplified. She learned that careful observation, patience, and problem-solving could accomplish more than brute force. Lara watched silently, impressed. Liam's guidance was helping Lyanna grow in ways she had not anticipated. The dragon girl's confidence was blossoming, her mind sharp and her spirit strong. Liam's influence was shaping her into a capable and thoughtful individual. One afternoon, Liam and Lyanna were working on a complex engine that powered a small hover vehicle. Sparks flew from the circuits, and light flickered from the energy conduits. Lyanna looked nervous. "I am not sure if I can fix it, Liam," she said. Liam smiled reassuringly. "You can do it. Remember what we learned: patience, observation, and careful steps. I will guide you, but you must try as well." Step by step, Lyanna followed Liam's instructions. She adjusted wires, aligned circuits, and tested gears. Slowly, the engine came to life, humming smoothly. Lyanna's face lit up with pride. "We did it," she exclaimed. "Yes," Liam said, smiling. "And you did most of the work. That is the most important part. Learning to try and succeed is what matters." Lara, observing from the balcony, felt a deep sense of understanding. Liam was not only teaching her daughter practical skills, but also shaping her character. This human was extraordinary, not through power or magic, but through patience, knowledge, and the ability to care for others. That evening, Liam and Mia returned to their small apartment. Mia listened to the story of the day with wide eyes, fascinated by the challenges and achievements. Liam smiled, realizing that his life, though simple, had become extraordinary. He was not only a mechanic, but a mentor, a guide, and a figure who could inspire and shape a future unlike any other. High above the city, Lara and Lyanna looked out at the stars. Lara's heart was filled with hope. Liam had proven that humans had qualities dragons admired, and that a bond built on trust, care, and mutual respect could change lives. Lyanna, dreaming of engines, tools, and adventures with Liam, felt confident and happy. She knew she had made the right choice. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders, but in the Dragon Palace and the small garage below, a connection had formed that bridged worlds and species. Liam and Lyanna's friendship had become a bond of trust, learning, and care, and it promised to grow stronger with every challenge they faced. Lara smiled, realizing that humans were capable of more than dragons had ever imagined. And as Lyanna drifted to sleep, dreaming of machines, engines, and the adventures to come, Liam lay in his apartment, thinking of the incredible journey that had just begun. The bond between the human, mechanic, and the dragon girl had been tested and proven. The lessons of patience, care, and courage had shown that greatness was not only measured in power or wealth, but in the heart and mind of those willing to guide, teach, and inspire. And this bond, strong and true, would shape the galaxy in ways no one could yet foresee. The morning sun bathed the Dragon Palace in warm light. Today was different. The halls and courtyards were decorated with shimmering banners, and the air hummed with quiet excitement. Kylara, the Dragon Queen, had arranged a special ceremony to celebrate her daughter Lyanna's choice of a guide and mentor. Liam, the human mechanic, arrived early with Mia at his side. Both were nervous, but Liam felt a quiet confidence. He had faced challenges, tests, and obstacles, and he had done his best for Lyanna. Lyanna was already waiting in the main hall, her small wings folded neatly. She looked radiant in a simple gown, her green eyes bright with anticipation. She held Liam's hand as the queen approached. Kylara's golden scales gleamed in the sunlight, streaming through the high windows. "Today," Kylara began, her voice carrying clearly through the hall, "we celebrate a choice made not from power, wealth, or tradition, but from trust, understanding, and the heart. Lyanna has chosen her guide. She has chosen someone who shows patience, wisdom, and care. She has chosen Liam, the human mechanic." The hall fell silent for a moment. Nobles, advisors, and magical beings watched with surprise. A human as a mentor for a dragon princess was unusual, perhaps unheard of. Liam stood tall, bowing respectfully to the queen. "Your Majesty," he said softly, "I am honored. I will continue to guide Lyanna with patience, care, and honesty. I promise to teach her what I know and to help her grow." Lyanna beamed up at him. "I trust you, Liam," she said. "I want to learn from you and have you by my side." Kylara nodded slowly, her expression thoughtful. She remembered the first day Liam had met her daughter. He had been humble, calm, and genuine. She had tested him through challenges, observing how he guided Lyanna with care and respect. Now she realized that the choice was wise. Liam possessed qualities dragons admired: patience, ingenuity, courage, and a pure heart. "Liam," Kylara said, her voice firm but kind, "you have proven yourself worthy. Your actions, your guidance, and your care have shown that humans possess remarkable qualities. You may continue to guide Lyanna as her mentor, and I welcome your presence in her life." Liam felt a mixture of pride and humility. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I will do my best, always." The ceremony continued with quiet celebration. Lyanna received a small pendant from her mother, symbolizing the bond between guide and pupil. Liam watched as Lyanna's eyes lit up, and he felt a warm sense of connection. This was more than a ceremony. It was a recognition of trust, respect, and the start of something new. After the ceremony, Kylara led Liam and Lyanna to a quiet garden in the palace. "You have proven yourself," she said softly, "not only to me, but to yourself. You have shown Lyanna qualities that will help her grow stronger and wiser. She is fortunate to have you." Liam smiled. "She teaches me as much as I teach her. Her curiosity, intelligence, and courage inspire me every day. I feel fortunate as well." Lyanna jumped slightly, her small wings fluttering. "I learn from Liam, yes, but I also enjoy it. He makes learning fun and exciting. I feel brave when I am with him." Kylara studied them and felt a deep sense of satisfaction. The bond between human and dragon girl had grown strong, and it had surpassed expectations. Liam had not relied on power, magic, or authority. He'd relied on patience, kindness, and understanding. These qualities had created trust, respect, and friendship. Over the following weeks, Liam continued to guide Lyanna. They repaired engines, built small hovercrafts, and experimented with new tools. Liam encouraged her to think creatively and to solve problems independently. Lyanna grew more confident with each task, learning not only about machines but also about life. One afternoon, Liam and Lyanna worked on a small personal starship designed for training and exploration. Lyanna handled the controls while Liam guided her through repairs and adjustments. Sparks of magic and mechanical energy danced around them, creating a small symphony of light and sound. See how everything works together? Liam asked. Machines, magic, and thought must align perfectly. Life is similar. You must balance your knowledge, skills, and heart to succeed. Lyanna nodded seriously. I understand. I can see it now. Thank you, Liam, for showing me this. Kylara, observing from a distance, felt her pride growing. Liam was teaching her daughter lessons that extended beyond mechanics and magic. He was teaching responsibility, creativity, and careful observation. He was shaping Lyanna into a strong, confident individual, capable of making her own choices. One day, Liam invited Mia and Lyanna to his garage in Nova City. The small space was filled with machines, engines, and tools, all humming softly. Today, Liam said, we will work on a new invention. Something small, but it will move on its own. You will see how careful design and planning make a difference. Lyanna's eyes sparkled with excitement. I can't wait, she said. Together, they worked, assembling small components, testing circuits, and making adjustments. Sparks of energy and light danced around them as the invention came to life. Lyanna's eyes shone with pride, and Mia clapped her hands with joy. You did it, Liam said, smiling. See how patience, observation, and care make a difference? You all learned something important today. Lyanna hugged him tightly. Thank you, Liam. You teach me more than anyone else ever could. Kylara, watching quietly, felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She had expected Lyanna to choose a noble, a warrior, or someone of great status. Instead, her daughter had chosen a human mechanica being who had no power, no magic, but a heart full of care and patience. It was a choice that reflected wisdom and courage. Over time, the bond between Liam and Lyanna grew even stronger. Liam became a part of her daily life, guiding her, teaching her, and inspiring her. Lyanna grew more confident, her mind sharp, and her heart courageous. She faced challenges with calm determination. Guided by the lessons Liam had taught her, Kylara realized that this connection had changed her perspective. Humans had qualities that dragons sometimes overlooked: creativity, patience, bravery, and kindness. Liam's guidance had shown her daughter that strength was not only in magic or power, but in the heart and mind of those who were willing to care, teach, and inspire. One evening, as the twin suns set over the galaxy, Kylara called Liam to her side. You have proven yourself beyond what I imagined, she said. Lyanna is fortunate to have you. She has learned from you, and I have learned from you as well. Humans are capable of more than I realized. Thank you, Your Majesty. It has been an honor to teach Lyanna. She teaches me as much as I teach her, and I am grateful for the opportunity. Lyanna, standing nearby, smiled brightly. I am happy, Mother. I chose Liam because he teaches me, listens to me, and cares for me. I feel safe and confident with him. Kylara nodded, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction. The choice had been unusual, unexpected, but wise. Liam had proven that simple virtues, patience, kindness, honesty, and creativity could shine brighter than wealth, magic, or power. The galaxy, vast and full of wonders, had witnessed an extraordinary bond forming. A humble human mechanic had earned the trust of a dragon princess, proving that greatness could come from the heart. Not only from power or status, Liam returned to his small apartment that night, feeling a sense of fulfillment. Mia hugged him tightly. You did something amazing today, she said. Yes, Liam replied, smiling. I only guided, taught, and cared. Lyanna and I did it together. That is what makes it special. High above the city, Kylara and Lyanna gazed at the stars. Lyanna's eyes sparkled with dreams of engines, tools, and adventures with Liam. Kylara felt a quiet pride, knowing that her daughter had made a wise choice, one that reflected her courage, independence, and trust in others. From that day on, Liam continued to guide Lyanna, teaching her, inspiring her, and sharing his knowledge. Lyanna grew strong, confident, and wise. The lessons she learned were not only about machines and magic, but about life, friendship, and trust. The Dragon Queen realized that humans were remarkable, that kindness and patience could change hearts, and that the simplest choices often held the greatest power. Liam, a single dad and mechanic, had become a bridge between worlds, showing that strength and greatness were not measured by power alone, but by the heart, the mind, and the courage to guide and teach. And so, the human mechanic and the dragon girl continued their journey together, exploring the galaxy, learning, growing, and proving that the bonds of trust, care, and friendship could surpass all expectations. The future was bright, full of adventure, discovery, and the simple, extraordinary power of the human heart.